All right, Garrett Johnston here with Austin Kaiser. Austin, what a week it was breaking through for that first major for your team, for Xander. What was that like for you? How do you describe it?
Oh, I mean, it was chilling to be quite honest. I know all of our friends were there, which was awesome. So walking up, right past them, everyone was just crying. It was kind of an awesome moment to be a part of. Because they're all part of the team. All of our friends are what make him great too. They all support him, just like every one of his team members. So they're part of the team, and it's kind of good just to be there and be a part of it, and everyone emotional. So that's what made the moment just amazing.
Now, which friends are you referring to specifically there?
I got two friends that we both have together. They're both caddies, one for now Colin Morikawa, and then one for Taylor Moore. His name's Big Wave Dave, and then Joe Griner. And they stayed. They actually canceled their flights. They were going to leave Sunday, but they saw where we were at in the leaderboard, and they're like, "We can't leave. We're going to cancel our flights."
Too good.
I know, it was awesome. Like I didn't expect them to do that, but I see them there, and I'm just like, holy smokes. And then we also had a friend from San Diego that flew out. He was living in New York at the time, and then just flew down for the day, and it was awesome just to see him there, and it was great. It was awesome.
Now, what was Xander like on that Sunday? How would you describe him?
He was calm. I mean, he's the calmest I've ever seen him. That's when I kind of knew he had it in complete control. There was no second guessing. Everything was just let's just execute. We have our decision, and he stuck to it and just executed. And that was the difference. He just had this calm mindset about him. Wasn't worried. We made bogey on 10, which is a par 5, and you bogey a par 5 out here, and you're just kicking yourself. But he just kept his head down and went birdie on the next two. So, that was the kind of the game changing holes there on hole to 11 and 12. So that's kind of the important ones.
Well, I heard he was even self-diagnosing that he had a stronger grip. He was trying to adjust that before the final round, right?
Yeah, we were there with Chris Como, his newer swing coach at the time, and Xander's like, my grip's getting too strong. I need to go weaker. And his coach kind of looked at me and was like, is this normal? I'm like, trust me, he does this all the time. He games it. He's a gamer. Like, it's just something he does. He works with it, and if it doesn't work, he'll bail on it. But he's like, let's just chill on this strong grip. I think everything's fine. You're, leading the tournament. He's like, I just can't get that left miss going, and paid off, that's just something that Xander does. He just kind of games it, and it was apparent that day. So.
Well, Chris is probably thinking, man, you're the last line of defense, Austin. You gotta help us out here.
I know he was, but I was like, hey, trust me, Chris, he's just fine. This is normal behavior. I know you're new with us. It's been 4 months with him, and next thing you know, he's like, is this normal? And I'm like, yeah, it's normal. So it worked out. It's one of the things that you look back on, you're like, that's good thing we did that.
And what about caddying down the stretch of the back nine, and obviously the finish on 18, the way you guys got it done?
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. You see Bryson there, and and you see him birdie, 16, and you're like, oh boy, he just birdied one of the hardest holes on the course. And we're sitting there, we were in the lead, now we're one back, and we're like, okay, we need to make something happen. But he did, and coming down 18, we got a little bad break there, and he didn't say anything about it, didn't put his head down, didn't cuss, didn't do any of that. He just was like, all right, where do we need to hit this? We just went through the process, and he executed, so it's good.
When you guys reflect back on, I know it's only been a few months, well, almost a year now, but what do you guys really kind of reflect on and appreciate about that day?
It's just kind of just getting that monkey off the back. Like we think about it, and it's like, I don't think we win the next major if he doesn't win that one. If you think about it, it's kind of like a domino effect.
The Open Championship, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, winning that helped him win the Open for sure. He was go mode and, shot 6 under at the Open on Sunday, which is just crazy to think about in those conditions. So,
what do you paint that up to? Chalk that up to that finish there?
I think it's just, it's him as a whole. Like, he's a fighter. He never gives up. I've never seen him mail in any tournaments, anything. Like, that's why he has so many backdoor top 10s, is just because he's not afraid to fight, and that's what I think that day came down to, is he was just fighting. Because we played Saturday in one of the hardest days I've ever seen a golf course play. That day we won the tournament, and then the next day seemed so easy to him, and went out and shot 6 under, no problem.
What's your biggest point of pride when you look back on Valhalla, the very first one for you guys?
It's a good question. I mean, for me, it's preparation. I know I wanted to be prepared because I knew he was playing well, and at that point I knew it was just his course decision at that point, because he was hitting it so well. It's like he's hitting his targets, so we just need to come up with the correct target. So at that point, I looked at that and I'm like, okay, the Open is the same way. Like, we need to dial in this course because we've never seen it, and we both prepared a lot more, deliberately, and I think it paid off.
Well, speaking of never seen courses, I had confirmed with Gal, the manager of Xander and his uncle, that you guys had never seen those two courses before that you had ended up winning at. Like, I don't know. I got to check the stats to see how often that's happened. But what do you attribute that to? That you guys are able to learn so quickly for Xander?
He trusts me a lot, and I actually, one thing I do is I walk the course as much as possible. If I have any kind of info that I don't have, it irks me, and I can't sleep. So I just go out there and I grind.
Let me just pick that up again from there because I just want to make sure we're both in the shot. But what do you chalk that up to? The fact that you guys haven't played both of those courses, you go out there and Xander wins both of those majors. Like, quick learners, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it's a lot of course prep. I go out there and I try to walk at least 18 holes a day extra, or 9 extra. If we play 9, I'll walk another 9 for sure. I think one day I had 30,000 steps at the Open.
Oh my God.
And then the Masters this week, or this last couple weeks, I walked 16 and a half miles on one day, on a Tuesday. So a lot of it's just preparation. I like to prepare, and if I don't know info, it really irks me, and I try to get as much info as I can. Obviously, with the PGA, you have rangefinders, so you don't need to do as much. But when you go to the Open, and you've never been to a course, especially those courses, a lot of it's course knowledge, and just try to learn as much as possible.
Well, Xander, clearly it's a quick study at that. Like, what do you think it is about his brain or his mentality that is able to work so well for that?
I think he's just open-minded. He's willing to try different plays. You'll go out on the course and be like, hey, this is to this pin, I think we should do this, and he looks at it and we try it in the practice round, and it ends up, if it saves us a shot, that's the difference of the tournament. So he's willing to try new things, and he sticks to his game plan. That's the big thing. If he makes a bogey, he's not being more aggressive. He's sticking to the game plan, and his best way to give him a chance at birdie and no worse than par. So that's kind of what he sticks to, and I think that's why he's played so well in majors and hard golf courses.
And then just lastly, what is it about you and Xander that just seems to work so well? I know you guys had the Honda Accord you used to drive around back in the mini tour days. Yeah. What is it about your friendship?
I think we just aren't afraid to tell each other the truth. I think that's one thing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to sugarcoat it. If I mess up, if he messes up, we'll tell each other. And that's what makes us strong. We're not. The thing is, a lot of caddying is you can't caddy like you're going to get fired. You got to caddy like you're trying to make your player as good as he can, and that's the key to it. And he knows that, and we both understand that, and we both just really trust each other. So that's why I think our bond's so strong, and we hang out so much. I mean, he's like a brother to me, and it just makes it that much easier. We also have fun on the course, which is a big part of it. This job's stressful, and as much as you can set back and have fun, it's important.
Well, Austin, I hope you guys have a blast defending those majors coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Garrett.
All right, buddy. Appreciate the time.
Of course.
Great.